The Financial Planner, presented by the Bombay Stock Exchange, IPF.
Welcome back. You're watching Financial Planner. I'm in conversation with Sumit Ved. He's a certified financial planner. And we've been taking viewer questions. If you have any questions, email us. Our email is financialplanner@utvmoney.com.
The Financial Planner, presented by the Bombay Stock Exchange, IPF.
So let's take one email that we got. It's a 22-year-old girl. She's working in Mumbai. She says, I have no liabilities, but I want to buy a car and a house over the next 5 years. She's earning 60,000 rupees, which I think is awesome. If you're 22 years old, you have no liabilities, you're earning 60,000 bucks. So, you know, and she's saving half of it. She saves 30,000. She's spending 20,000. She doesn't make a mention of what the other 10,000, where that's going. But she says she has investments in mutual funds. She does have life insurance. She also has health insurance. But remember, she still wants that house and that car. She says, should I be cashing out of all of these investments, saving that money, and then putting it towards the house and the car? So is that a good idea, Sumit? I mean, on the, you know, when I started reading it, I was like, it's great. I mean, she's 22, she's earning well, she's saving well, she has mutual funds, she has insurance, and then she goes and pops my bubble and says, but I don't want to do all of that. I want my house and my car. Is that a good way to approach it? How do you approach it?
I think it's a very fantastic email, and it's a good example for our viewers who are watching. Here's a 22-year-old who's doing, I think, most of the things right.
Yeah.
So let's try and understand. First thing right she's doing is she's not spending all of money which she gets.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saving of 30,000 rupees a month. There's no debt.
Yeah.
There's no debt as of now. No credit card. Youngsters, not credit card. Big plus from my side to her. Third point, she has goals in mind. She's saying, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house. Great way to start in terms of investing. That's great clarity which you're having. And then later she's saying, I have mutual funds, I have life insurance. Life insurance at this stage, wow, you know, if you were in front of me, I'll give you a great price about it. And I presume when you say life insurance, it's only term insurance. You have not invested in life insurance because they are two separate things. So I think fantastic. But the later part of the mail, which is the question, also talks about the misinformation which flows around. Now, here her goal is buying a house and a car. And she's saying, should I stop investing to save for them? So our answer is no, don't stop investing. Continue to invest where you're investing, because you are creating a corpus in these investments, which at time when you need to go and buy the car or the house will help you do the down payment.
Right. So your message to her is, look, you're doing great, don't stop now.
That's right, don't stop now, because even in the car, you know, because you are having a surplus of 30,000 rupees, our approach to it will be, you know, try and take it on an EMI and do a 50% of down payment and do 50% of EMI kind of a thing, because that will help you continue your investment for a long period of time. We don't want you to stop your regular investment for a long period of time. So that's first suggestion. Second is house. House doesn't seem like possible in 5 years with these kind of figures, you know, unless you've got, you know, some money stashed away or given to you by your parents, which will start off in a good way. I think house looks to be a 10-year perspective for you from this point.
Which is still not bad for her, because she's only 22 and 32, and buying a house is a fairly decent age to be doing that investment.
Only one advice which we like to give her is put an amount to the kind of house she wants to buy. Rather than saying I want to buy a house, she should say that I want to buy a 2-bedroom house towards this part of Mumbai, if she's in Mumbai from, and my maximum budget as of today will be this. Because once you have that clarity and amount, it'll give us very easy calculations, how much you need to save for how long period of time and when that house can really happen.
The Financial Planner, presented by the Bombay Stock Exchange, IPF.
I want to ask you, Sumit, a lot of times, and we see that with our own lives, you know, for people who haven't really planned very well, is that you're muddling along, you're doing your good your job, you have some investments, and then you want something badly, right? So you want a car badly, and then you don't have the cash immediately to buy that fancy car. And you say, you know, I'm making that SIP in that mutual fund. Usko main uda ke, I will put it over here and then start taking money away from my investments to fund a particular thing. Talk to us about how toxic that attitude can be.
That's majorly toxic. I call this attitude to be a money plant attitude.
What's a money plant attitude?
Money plant attitude is, that means, you know, when we don't have a plan or a financial plan with us, we haven't articulated our goals. What we do is, whatever savings we are doing, we are investing at one place. So that is one money plant. For everything I do, I keep investing and saying, okay, this is my big one nest. I'll use it for whatever I have to use it. And as soon as the first aspiration or a goal or a dream or a want or a need comes in front of your mind, for example, the way you are articulating a car, what you do first thing is go to that money plant and take the money out and say, okay, I'll use this to buy my car.
Yeah.
You know, two things happen. One, the compounding which you did in terms of collecting that money has gone because you took it out and used it for car. Secondly, because it is not linked to a goal, you're not tracking the performance of it. You're not trying to articulate, you know, what should it become at what point of time.
Yeah.
As a result of which, again, you are rudderless ship. You're not going in a specific direction. You're going everywhere. And last but not the least, what this kind of a behavior does is that your regularity of investment gets stopped, because what you'll do in terms of buying a car is take half of that money plant amount, pay the down payment, and instead of regularly investing in money plant, you'll start repaying the EMI now.
Yeah.
Now, two big impact. Your compounding of existing investment has gone. Second, your regularity of investing has gone. So over a period of time, if you keep having this money plant attitude, by the time you retire, you figure out there's no money plant, there's only plant. And then the whole retirement really goes for a toss. It repeatedly happens. Please avoid this.
And which brings us back to what you have been saying consistently, that you've got to have a financial goal. Like, look, even if it's something as, you know, in terms of large assets, I suppose a car is a fairly small asset to buy.
Yep.
You know, if you want to buy that car, make sure you have that articulated as a goal. Say that my goal is to buy a car in 2 years time, and start saving for it from now, and don't dip into your other investments to pay for this particular thing. I think it's somewhat like an old-fashioned way of investing, would you say, where, you know, our parents would have X amount of money stashed away. Whenever they felt like buying something, they would dip into that and take it away. I would say it's an old-fashioned way of investing.
It's very old-fashioned. In fact, financial planning per se is pretty boring, but please remember this quote, which I always say that in show: failing to plan is planning to fail.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Financial Planner, presented by the Bombay Stock Exchange, IPF.
Welcome back. You're watching Financial Planner, and we're in conversation with certified financial planner Sumit Ved. So we've been talking about a bunch of different things and how you should be investing your money. And I think the way to wealth is not how much you spend, but how much you save. I think that's how you actually create wealth. And if you meet fabulously rich people, I haven't met any of those, but if you meet fairly successful rich people, the first thing you notice is that they're not spending like crazy. They're saving, they're investing.
I think goal plays a very important role. It's not about distance as much, it's about direction. What goal setting does, or what a financial plan does, is give direction to your financial life. Where you are, where you want to go, let's put a direction, and that's the beginning. Once you get that right, I think everything else falls in place. Most of the time, we don't have a direction, we end up buying products. Wrong way to do.
All right. So let's talk about one term that we want to learn for today. That's net asset value. It's related to mutual funds. And talking about mutual funds, we get a lot of callers calling into our shows. I want to share with you what one of the callers asked us. But for starters, Sumit, how do you define net asset value? What would you say it is?
Mutual funds are becoming a very popular vehicle to access the securities market, like stocks and bonds and etc. itself. So one needs to understand the real value through which you understand what's your worth of money in a mutual fund is the net asset value. Net asset value is that value of a particular mutual fund scheme, which tells you what is the value of that scheme on that particular day. So net asset value is, if you really look at your mutual fund account statement, you will get number of units allotted to you. So you've invested 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees divided by that particular net asset value is that many number of units which you have got, and those units will remain, you know, constant. And as that net asset value goes up and down, number of units into net asset value will tell you what is the actual return, or what is the worth of your investment in mutual fund is. So this is the rule of what net asset value is. Exactly what goes inside net asset value is nothing but the value of the investment which is held by the scheme, and minus the expenses which are being run by that particular scheme in terms of, you know, whatever expenses which is there by in a mutual fund scheme to run, divided by number of unit holders. You know, it gives you a net asset value of per unit value, which is the basis point for understanding what is the worth of investment which you did in mutual fund at one point of time, and what is it today in terms of movement of net asset value.
All right. So it's an easy way to calculate what your worth is for all that money that you put in. So you find out what the net asset value is. Then you see how many units you have. If you have 100 units and your net asset value is X, then your value of that total investment would be 100 into X.
That's right. I want to highlight one more factor here, you know, which is a big misinformation flying in the market, which goes like, if fund has a higher net asset value, it is a bad fund. If fund has a lower net asset value, it is a good fund. It doesn't work like that. Net asset value is value of investments of that particular mutual fund on that particular day. So if there is a net asset value of a fund which is at 100 rupees, and on the same day there is net asset value of another fund which is at 15 rupees, and both these funds are large cap equity diversified fund, both both net asset values are same. There's no difference.
You can't judge it. You can't judge funds based on their net asset value.
That's right.
How do you judge funds then? How do you pick a good fund for yourself? Let's say if you're looking at a diversified equity fund, how do you pick a good one?
So historical performance of fund is one of the benchmarks which you need to see. So you have to see how long track record of a fund is. Is it a new fund? Is it a track record of fund with 5 year plus? 5 year plus kind of a fund is always good because you know how fund managers has worked for that long period of time. Second, what is the size of the fund? Is it too big a fund? Is it too small a fund? You know, both have their own limitations. So you have to figure out it should be a decently sized fund. Third is what is the objective of fund? Let's say diversified fund and it is saying my benchmark is Nifty 50.
Yeah.
How is it performed versus benchmark? Is it performing consistently or not? Then try and do some Google on that particular fund. There are rating agencies like Value Research, Crisil, etc., where you'll be able to see fund report card, which will tell you what kind of holdings this company has.
So don't judge it purely on the basis of the net asset value would be the takeaway.
That's right. Don't judge it purely on net asset value. Investing in fund is a science. Again, you should have a professional expert, an advisor, a certified financial planner with you who will help you identify your right kind of plan. Last but not the least, get your financial plan, set your goals, and then buy and put funds into those goals. Without doing these things, you'll always be confused where you are, where you want to go.
That's a whole other show, isn't it, Sumit, about how you should be picking your mutual funds. We'll talk about that the next time on Financial Planner. We hope that you found today's show interesting and also informative. We value your feedback. Do mail us at financialplanner@utvmoney.com. From the entire team here, thank you. And Sumit, awesome to have you as always. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.